We are biologically wired to seek safety. The moment we find a rhythm that works, a routine that keeps the stress low and the outcomes predictable, our brains throw a celebration. We clock in, we execute the checklist, and we mistake that comfortable efficiency for actual progress. But comfort is a silent thief. It does not destroy your genius with a sudden cataclysmic failure. It suffocates it, slowly, piece by piece, under the warm blanket of stability. When you protect the routine just because it is safe, you are actively trading your unique creative edge for standard compliance. The urgency is immediate and undeniable. The world is evolving at a pace that absolutely despises stagnation. The marketplace no longer has a shortage of people who can follow a process flawlessly. If you want to unlock true elite genius, you must realize that a comfortable routine is not a sign of mastery. It is a symptom of surrender. To leave a legacy that burns bright, a man must possess the courage to break his own patterns before those patterns permanently freeze his potential. Men's daily routines are carefully engineered to eliminate surprises, creating a false sense of security that quietly suffocates original thought. We wake up, drink the same coffee, and take the same route, believing a predictable day equals a successful life. This repetition trains the brain to operate on autopilot, optimizing for efficiency while starving our capacity for deep innovation. Reclaiming your raw, innovative edge requires you to deliberately challenge this comforting illusion of predictability every single morning. When a man courageously breaks the rigid loop of his familiar habits, he instantly awakens the hidden, unyielding power of his creative genius. Men often treat a stress-free, comfortable daily routine as the ultimate reward for their hard work. We build lives where every hour is cushioned, believing that a frictionless schedule is the true mark of achievement. However, this comfort is actually a psychological trap designed to engineer mediocrity by removing the necessary resistance that forces a man to grow. Recognizing that true genius requires friction means you must stop worshiping the ease of your current setup. When a man's daily habits demand absolutely nothing new from him, his creative capacity simply wastes away. Leaving him executing tasks instead of inventing the future, men naturally consume their energy by meticulously managing the rigid processes of their daily schedules. We focus on optimizing the routine, answering emails faster, and ticking the boxes of a predetermined system. This management mindset tricks a man into believing he is growing when he is actually just maintaining an outdated machine, mistaking operational compliance for deep creative advancement. Shifting your daily focus requires a man to transition from managing the process to aggressively disrupting the parameters. Instead of asking how to execute the routine faster, an elite creator questions why the routine exists at all. Breaking these boundaries forces the mind to discover entirely new landscapes of innovation. Men deliberately structure their daily routines to smooth out any friction, completely avoiding the discomfort of the unknown. We craft our schedules to ensure certainty, believing that a day without tension is a day well spent. Yet, by systematically eliminating every unexpected variable, we unknowingly starve our minds of the very sparks that ignite deep innovation. Welcoming the friction of the unknown is the only way a man can truly fuel his creative fire. When you consciously step away from the predictable track and embrace constructive chaos, your brain is forced to adapt, synthesize, and conquer. This deliberate discomfort transforms a passive routine into a crucible for elite genius. Men often mistake a smooth, unchallenged daily routine for genuine achievement, unaware that this passive satisfaction is quietly neutralizing their grandest ambitions. When a man feels entirely comfortable in his day-to-day habits, his internal psychology stops fighting for progress and begins protecting the status quo. This comfort tricks him into believing he is secure, while it actually drains the urgency required to build a meaningful legacy. Over time, the routine stops serving as a tool for productivity and becomes a shield against growth. Reprogramming your internal psychology requires a man to intentionally treat this daily complacency not as a peaceful rest stop, but as an active threat to his ultimate vision. Elite creators understand that the moment their habits stop demanding courage, their creative genius begins to decay. A man must actively audit his schedule to locate where comfort has settled and ruthlessly disrupt it to maintain his competitive edge. Men default to the familiar path because the human brain is biologically optimized to conserve energy, transforming our daily routines into anesthetizing loops of pure comfort. We easily tell ourselves that following the same rigid schedule day after day is a badge of discipline, mistaking a predictable workflow for actual achievement. But this security comes at a devastating cost to a man's innate creative genius, silently halting his potential before he realizes it. When you consistently prioritize the safety of the known, you make a tragic agreement to stop growing, slowly becoming a mere bureaucrat of your own life. Choosing the risk of evolution means a man must deliberately introduce constructive disruption into the sacred, unchallenged architecture of his daily habits. True elite masters understand that breakthrough innovation is never found in the absence of tension. It is forged through the courageous act of stepping directly into the unknown. You must be willing to abandon a perfectly functional, comfortable routine the moment it stops serving the ultimate purpose of your vision. When a man rejects the seductive lure of a cushioned existence and embraces the uncertainty of personal evolution, his mind instantly awakens to engineer new global standards.